So let's do a quick lessons or review lessons on ratios and proportions. Okay, let's define the terms first before we dive into a problem. So the word ratios simply means a comparisons between two like units. Like you're comparing red marbles with blue marble. They're all marbles, for instance. And the word proportions is definitely just basically an equivalent of two ratios. Okay, so we've seen something like this before through fraction equivalence, and we're going to talk about that in a minute and how to use proportions to solve for a ratio problem as well. So let's talk about our first example here. Pretend I give you a ratio of 2 to 3, and this is to compare boys and girls in a class. Okay, it's a 2 to 3 ratio. What it simply means is that for every 2 girls, you will have 3 boys. So that means out of 5 students, so that means a group of 5 students, you expect to have 2 girls and 3 boys. So depending on how many groups I have, let's say I have 2 groups, you expect to have 4 girls and 6 boys, for instance. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. So the question is, for instance, if I have, I don't know, 12 girls, my question would be, what if I have 12 girls, then how many boys will I have based on this ratio? So to set this problem up, well, you just kind of start writing either horizontally or vertically first. You just want to see this. So I'm talking about 2 boys to every 3 girls. So this is boys, this is girl, and based on what I have for you, I have 12 girls. If I want to set up a proportion, I need to make sure that my 2 ratios are all lined up. Boys, girl, boy, girl. So I have girl right here. The only thing that's missing from this ratio is the boy. Okay, now you want to set up a proportion, you have to turn this ratio, write it as a fraction. So the 2 to 3 will now become 2 over 3. Boy, girl. You see that? Now here we go. Here's the next part. This one will be the same. Boy, girl, boy, girl. So that means the B will have to be on top and the 12 will be in the bottom. Notice how everything is lined up correctly. Boy with boy, girls with girls. When you have fraction on each side, notice that we can use cross multiplication to solve this problem. 3 times B, which is 3B. 12 times 2, which is, as you know, 12 times 2 is going to be 24. So it's going to be 3B equals to 24. Okay, 3 times B equals 24. You want to solve for this. You would divide, of course, divide both sides by 3. B would now be 8. So that means for 8 girls, I will have 12 boys. So as an extension to this problem, okay, here's an extension, just another one for you to think about. What if I have, let's say, 50 students total? 50 students. I don't know how many boys, I don't know how many girls, but the only thing that I know is for every 2 boys, I will have 3 girls. How do I figure how many boys will I have and how many girls am I going to have based on this number of students? Well, for this one right here, we have to set it up a little bit differently. We're not talking about girls or boys. We're talking about both. So that means to find boys, we've got to separate it from the girls. So here we go. Let's find the boys first, and then we'll do the girl on this side as well. Boys, it is 2 boys, right? But understand that this is 2 boys out of how many students? A group of 5 students, because notice that we're dealing with students total, not the boys or girls. So in this case, when we're dealing with boys, it is a ratio of 2 boys to students, right? So in this case, it's 5 students. The 2 boys, 5 for every 5 students. Okay, in this case I have a total of 50 students. Notice how I line it up, student with students, and I want to find out how many boys I'm going to have in that 50. Okay, so same thing again. Notice how I set up my proportion. It's not 2 to 3, because I'm not comparing boys to girls. I'm comparing boys to students. I'm comparing girls to the number of students. So you will see the difference here in a minute, but let's cross multiply. It's going to be 5 times b equals to 2 times 50. So you have 5 times b equals to 100 divided by 5 both sides. B will be, what is 100 divided by 5? Give you 20 boys. Okay, the girl side is going to be the same exact thing, but this time notice the difference. We're not talking about boys anymore. We're done. This is for 3 girls out of 5 students. Remember, I talked about the group of students before. For every 5 students, there will be 2 girls and 3 boys, right? Or did I get that mixed up? Oh, yeah. For kind of get this mixed up right here, it's actually for 3 girls, you have 2 boys. Okay, sorry about that. Let's quickly correct that. So here it's going to be 3 girls out of 5 students. And once again, I want to find out how many girls will I have out of the 50 students. So I'm going to do the same thing, cross multiplications. So you have 5 times g, or girl, equals 3 times 50. You have 5g equals to 150 divided by 5 both sides. Girls now is going to be 30. 30 girls. Okay, and if you notice, if you put this back into a ratio format, 20 boys out of 30 girls, it is simplified to over, once again, 2/3. They are proportional. That's why we can set it up that way to solve. Okay, all right, so that would conclude our lesson for that one.